Good evening. Welcome to another episode of OmenG's Stupid Scary Stories. Tonight I'll be reading from Connecticut Ghost Stories and Legends by Thomas D'Agostino and Arlene NIcholson, part of the Haunted America series. Tonight's story, The John York House. Connecticut is rich with historic sites. Those who hold a love for their heritage and history have often preserved them for others to behold and relish. It is no wonder that many of these locations also harbor a spirit or two from the past. These spectral inhabitants have a tendency to remain in the residency they so loved in life. Sometimes they even linger about to assist the new owners in the never-ending battle of keeping up these old houses. Others may be bound by an event that transpired long ago, leaving them trapped to finish some business that only they may find the answer to. The latter was the case of the John York House in North Stonington. Jean Puyot purchased the home in 2008 from the Groats, who were the last to run it as a bed and breakfast. Arlene and I were doing a book signing at Mystic Seaport when Jean approached us with the possibility of a paranormal investigation in this newly acquired home. He had heard the legends in regard to the house and thought it might be a good idea to see if they held any validity. As for us, we were elated to check out a landmark of Connecticut history. I had read many accounts of this antiquated ordinary and always wanted to spend some time there, hoping to communicate with the alleged spirits that dwelled within. Armed with equipment, Andrew Lake of Greensville Paranormal, Matthew Moniz of Spooky South Coast, my brother Donald and his wife, Sheila, accompanied Arlene and me to the house. We set up in our usual speedy manner, were holding vigil in no time. Before I divulge our experiences, here's a brief history of the home and its haunt. John York was a successful businessman and farmer when he built his home in 1741. He later turned it into a tavern and inn around the time of the American Revolution. It was during this time that the two Continental soldiers, who were best friends, sat in the Great West Room, presently the library, one evening for a relaxing chat. The conversation turned toward a beautiful woman whom both men had a keen affection toward. They soon found themselves arguing, and a bloody fight ensued, during which one of the soldiers, in a fit of rage, plunged a knife into the chest of the other, killing him on the spot. The murderer ran from the scene and was never seen again. Accounts state that he either resigned himself to a ship or became a stowaway aboard one in order to flee justice. Either way, he was reported to have fallen overboard and drowned. John York tried to soak up the bloodstains on the floor with sand, but to no avail. He ultimately had to pry up the tainted floor planks and turn them over. It was shortly after that when the haunting of the York House began. At first, they were temperature occurrences, such as objects disappearing and reappearing somewhere else in the house, or shadows out of the corner of one's eye. This went on for about 200 years before the haunts escalated to a new echelon. The Wilms family purchased the home in 1963. Mrs. Wilms was so intrigued by the ethereal occurrences that she began to hold seances in hopes of contacting the spirits of the house. She must have succeeded, because the haunting grew with such intensity that the furniture began to topple over and items began to fly off the walls. Family members also frequently smelled the odor of pipe tobacco, although no one in this family smoked. Clothes and shoes would be found in piles on the floor, and footsteps were heard throughout the house when those areas were void of the living. Door locks began to unlatch by themselves. and even a vacuum cleaner decided to start on its own volition. The most shocking event was when one of the Wilms boys awoke in the middle of the night with what resembled handprints clearly visible around his neck. They were also interrupted by what sounded like cannon fire. This is when the family called famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren to the house. The Warrens claimed that the spirit haunting the house was that of a Revolutionary soldier who was trapped there by guilt and sadness. They performed the cleansing ritual that supposedly drastically reduced the intensity of the haunting within the residence. It was not much recourse for the Wilmses, who had experienced more than they cared for already. In 1987, the family moved away from the York house. There was also an account of a guest who fell down the stairs in a drunken stupor and broke his neck. The back stairs leading from the dining room are very small and steep. One could easily slip going up or down them. It is reported that his ghost, a bit more irritated than the other presences in the place, still roams the area of his demise. The next owners, Leah and David Grote, stated that they had not experienced anything out of the ordinary since they acquired the York house in 1997. They turned it into a fine bed and breakfast with 4 wonderfully furnished rooms. Each room had a fireplace and private bath, along with lovely heirloom antiques. Guests could expect to wake up to the smell of fresh bread and exquisite breakfast that would have roused the most profound sleeper from his chamber. On the other hand, many of the Grote's guests claimed to have had paranormal encounters while visiting the inn. Our first stop was the basement, where we attempted to find the blood-stained boards with black lights, but the ceiling had long been covered and insulated. The exposed support columns did not have any evidence of a colonial fight either, and we were soon back in the library, hoping to talk with one of the spirits. The first few hours seemed rather quiet, but as the day waned and darkness set in, we began to feel the energy coming out to join us in the twilight hours. It could be surmised that when it was a hostel, those who came down to dine and have a drink would do it during that time of the day. Having little or no lighting would make this a plausible possibility. It was not until later, when we held vigils in the bedrooms, that we would catch some eerie evidence through EVPs proving that the John York house is still tenanted by someone from the past. During our vigils, we asked many friendly questions. It is our protocol to ask only nice questions, such as you would if you were having a welcoming conversation with anyone. Would you want to answer someone demanding you to speak? One question Arlene asked was how many people live here. When I played my recorder back, there was one voice that clearly stated, "Shut the door." Maybe it was John York trying to conserve on heat. Or maybe, being an hour when the sun had gone down, they were used to bedding down at that moment and we were bothering them. It could have also been a random residual voice we were lucky enough to catch at that moment. Another startling EVP was obtained in a room where the Wilms boy had encountered a less than jovial entity. This room is also at the top of the staircase where the man supposedly fell to his death. Another question was, "Did you build this house?" And the voice clearly answered, "Go away." It was not only caught on the digital recorder, but also on the handheld camcorder. Maybe we were keeping the spirits up later than they wanted, or as the house was vacant for a spell, they liked it that way. Either way, Jean's question was answered. It was never anything malevolent, just intriguing. But the history, and in some cases, haunts, are one of the most indispensable charms of old bed and breakfast inns. We never felt any negative energy, and the Poyots were very friendly and reasonable, and personable. If they decide to open it as a bed and breakfast again, they can be assured that they will have lots of guests. The spirits can be considered the best critics on how welcoming a place is. For the ghosts to have wanted to stay that long, it must be worth it. Now, I remember my last day at a bed and breakfast. It wasn't peaceful or quiet. I got slapped up. Remember? Then there was a ghost stomping around in the attic. So I wasn't all that enthusiastic about visiting the John York house. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of, for lack of a better word, I was apprehensive. Not because I was scared and shit, because I knew that if I wanted to get the kind of results that I wanted to get, I was gonna have to go at night, spend the night over there and shit, sleep, or sleep during the day, and then do the ghost shit at night. So that's what I did. I slept the whole day before and shit, got ready to go visit the John York house, because I wanted to see if this place was like really active. And they say it's most active when you go after the sun goes down, so that was the plan. Now, you're probably asking me, are you gonna bring Rosmo along? Of course. You know that I'm bringing him because he's so fucking hilarious at times. And he always has some background, usually, on the happenings of this place. Except this time, I'm going to have him tell me before we go. I don't want no surprises. You know? They're never good surprises. Slaps in the face, kicks in the balls. Angry ghosts, angry at me for something I had no part of. I don't feel like dealing with that. So, I let Rasamul know where we're going. Like, hey, buddy, we're going to the John York house. Heard of it? Don't lie. Be fucking 100% honest up front. I don't want no surprises. Okay, Rasamul? And if you do this, and you've had something to do with some of the suffering shit there, I'll let you out the jar for a little while so you can, like, feast on your centuries-old meal that you've been slow cooking for all this time. Is it a deal? Ah, Sheriff, that sounds like a wonderful deal, Reese. When are we leaving? Like an hour or two. Finish my tea. Maybe we should see if Jane wants to come. So, you know, I got on the phone and I called Jane to see if Jane wanted to, you know, come check out this bed and breakfast with me and shit. Yeah, so I called her up. It's like, yo, Jane, what's up? It's Reese. How's everything going? I'm going to the John York house tonight and shit. Bring Roswell along. You wanna come along? Here there's supposed to be some ghosts and shit. EVPs and stuff. Yeah, it might be a good night. And I'm gonna ask Roswell ahead of time if there's any surprises we should be aware of. And, you know, then I'll call you back if I'm still gonna go. If it's a dangerous, you know, space. We don't wanna go there. So I'll call you back, alright, Jay? Talk to you later. So I sit down, I'm talking to Rasamul, and I ask him, you know, up front, if he knows anything about John York house. He starts laughing. So I already know what that means. He has a lot to do with, if not everything to do with, the John York house, right? He goes in the story. Yeah, check this out, right? You know, this girl, right? Real pretty girl. Like, extremely pretty. She's like the prettiest girl in the whole town. And there was this dude. He liked her. He liked her a lot. Revolutionary soldier. Getting ready to go off to war. You know, him and the girl were talking stuff. She was kind of like a little bit flighty, if you get what I'm saying. She wasn't like all that into him. She was into him because, like, you know, he was a soldier in town. She wasn't that good looking. So when I came along, as another soldier, handsome as I was, handsome, you know, I swooped in. She started giving me more attention than the other guy. He wasn't happy about that shit at all, you know. He challenges me to a duel. I start beating his ass immediately upon him talking his shit. I'm like, look, dude. I didn't say dude. I said, look here, bastard. How dare thee challenge me because the lady has her affection set upon me and not you. I'm a handsome man, charming. You, on the other hand, are ugly as sin. It's as if your mother bumped every branch on the ugly tree as she had you and birthed you, and upon your birth you fell into a bunch of sticks. Each of them was an ugly stick that smacked you repeatedly upon your face, which is why you are ugly to this day, and the lady does not want anything to have doing with you. Good sir, nothing to do with you. Nonsense! Said the other dude, you know, the ugly guy that was about to lose out on this woman that he likes. You speak nonsense, man. For the lady loves I. We spoke yesterday. As a matter of fact, she was supposed to be joining me for a cup of tea later this evening until you showed up here. So once again, I challenge you to a duel. At this point, Rosamel tells me that's when he just jumped on him and started beating his ass. And he beat him bad, like bloody. Just savaged the shit out of him in front of this girl. Beat him down, right? So, like, the girl, she knows that she's kind of dead wrong. You know what I'm saying? She knows that she's kind of dead wrong in this whole situation. So, like, a couple of days after the fight happens and the boy dies that liked her and that she kind of led on to believe that he was going to be interesting to her, but wasn't interesting to her. She was just like, you know, he had the uniform and shit. It was a soldier, a little bit of a status symbol for her to be talking to him. But as soon as one more attractive came along, she bounced on him. But she felt bad, right? So when she died, her soul lingered there because she always felt somewhat guilty for the fact that Rosamund, in the form of a human soldier that was more handsome than this guy, came over there and, you know, purposely fucked some shit up. And that's why he died. Because Rosamund beat him to death. Anyway, so Rosamund takes off into the woods and shit. And he does get onto a ship headed back to England. Obviously, he killed a British soldier in the process to get a British uniform because it's not like he was going to be able to sail back to England as a fucking continental soldier. So, yeah, you know, he kills a guy. And he gets on the ship. And while on the ship, they throw his ass overboard for doing some dumb shit. I don't remember exactly what it was that he did because he didn't really want to go into it and shit. But whatever it was wasn't very good. So I'm like, that's it. Huh? That's all you have to do with at the damn John York house? He's like, oh, no, that was another thing I'm responsible for. And, you know, this one is fucking hilarious. You'll laugh, right? This is a guy you used to do all the time. He'd be there drinking, you know, when it wasn't in in a hostel. And one day he was drunk as shit. I decided I was gonna have some fun with him. I was gonna have some fun with him. And so he's coming up the stairs and shit. Drunk as a skunk. This guy's made this walk at least 20, 30 times. You know what I mean? But this guy is toasted. I mean, out of his mind. Whiskey, he had quite a lot of it. Was inebriated. Swaying up the stairs as he did. I jumped out real quick. Peeked around. Like you see shadows do. All those scary videos and shit. Well, that's how I did. I popped out on him. And he said, "Oh! God, help me." And he fell down the stairs, backwards. Broke his neck. His soul hopped out of his body. Sees me at the top of the stairs. Tries to chase me and shit. And I trip him. Now, he's stuck walking up and down the back of the fucking stairs, trying to make it to the top without tripping. And he trips over some different thing every single time. Or like the banister will collapse on him and he gets to the top and it's like, it's perpetual tripping and falling down a fucking flight of stairs. He's been doing this shit for at least like 200 to maybe even 300 years. It's been a long time. And that's it, right? Nothing else I need to be like worried about happening. I don't know, nothing like damn shit. Alright, so, I was expecting this soldier to definitely be mad. Especially if Razamul's there, because he'll sense the energy. He'll sense the energy of Razamul, and he'll realize that this was the man that stole away his woman. So I called Jane back. Jane, check this out, right? Yeah, he fucked with a couple of people there, but we should be good. Yeah. I'll pick you up in about an hour. So for like the next few minutes and shit, I'm gathering all the tools of my trade. My demon slaying sword, blessed oil, holy shotgun, blessed crossbow, my candles, the shield, serenity. It's a new object that I just tossed in the whole mix right then and there, you know what I'm saying? My hat of protection. It's just this hat. Protects me from like splatter and goo from some of these demons I have to kill. You know what I'm saying? So, now that I've got all my stuff together, I know Jane's gonna bring cameras and all that shit. So, I stuffed my bags with a few extra things that I may need in case this turns out to be like some shit that's not what I expect it to be. You know what I'm saying? So, boom. We get there. Fucking new owners talking to us about their plans to maybe open this up as a bed and breakfast like the previous owners had ran it for so many years. They weren't quite sure if they wanted to do this. It all depended on how haunted the place really was. They wanted some spiritual stuff, paranormal things to happen, but they wanted it reserved only to like objects being moved around, the occasional like ghostly appearance. They didn't want any of that poltergeist shit, like throwing stuff, slamming cabinet doors, waking people up at night, running up and down the stairs, scaring people. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want that shit. Stacking up glasses in odd ways when they fall down all over the place, and shatter on the ground, and glass, and utensils flying on. They didn't want messy ghosts. And, they figured that me and Jane were gonna like, I don't know, what they thought, really. I have no fucking clue. I guess they was calling us in the sense that we were some kind of Ghostbusters or something. You know, like we selectively remove ghosts based on a set of criteria laid out before us in a contract somehow signed to by both parties to complete such ghost hunting in a manner which fulfills this contract, which would be nonsense because, like, how could you even write some contract like I will remove only ghosts of this nature? That's not possible. So that's not what happened. But this is what they were saying, and we listened to this crock of bullshit flow right out of their mouths and hit the floor like bullshit would if a bull shat it out in a room enclosed and had a concrete floor. And we're listening to this, and Jane is holding back tears of laughter because like you had to hear them. They were serious the way they were talking to us. Like they really thought that this was possible. I don't even know if we were like Ghostbusters and we had proton packs that we could do what they were asking. Like in a night, like how are we supposed to know which ghosts are which with one night? Like what if, right? Let's just throw this scenario out there. Let's say there's a ghost that's an asshole, right? And then there's another ghost, but neither one of these ghosts show themselves, right? One ghost just moves stuff around and the other one like breaks stuff, right? So we're catching both of these occurrences, and we've deciphered through special equipment and studying, you know, the visual stuff that we capture on cameras. We noticed that there's two ghosts, right? One that just moves stuff and one that's throwing shit, right? That's what we've noticed. So what if, right, like the ghost that is breaking shit notices that we notice that there's two of them, and he decides he wants to get that ghost in trouble because he knows that we have this power to just like get rid of ghosts, you know, somehow selected criteria that was presented to us in the beginning of the contract, right? Remember what I was saying? So yeah, they want these types of ghosts removed. So now we've identified these ghosts. So now this ghost knows that we've identified that we're gonna remove it. So what's stopping it from waiting until the one that's doing regular moving shit does some moving shit, right? And then we, as soon as it finishes moving it, throw the fucking shit off the damn shelf or whatever it's on that it's moved from, right? And then like the Ghostbuster people, because right now we're the ghost, attacks that ghost because it flies shortly after, and they get rid of that ghost, right? So I just stay around for a while acting like, haha, I'm the ghost that just moved shit, and every now and then I'll throw some shit around and I'll pretend to be two different ghosts. You get what I'm saying? And if they can't see me, how are they gonna know where I'm standing at? You know what I'm saying? So I can like break some shit over here and then like fly over there real quick and just pick something up and move it. And they'll just think that I'm the ghost that picks up. You understand the flaws in trying to remove ghosts selectively. This is what I'm saying. It's either all or nothing. That's why I tried to explain to these people. Now we can rid you of ghosts and spirits and shit, but as far as removing certain spirits, I'm not going to guarantee that. I'm not signing that piece of paper. They started asking me questions, my credentials, you know, sort of, I guess they wanted a resume, if you will. I opened up my bag. You know what I keep in my bag? My jar of demon named Rosamund. I show it to them, right? Oh, you should have seen the way they jumped the fuck back. They knew I wasn't fucking around. Who the fuck are they to question a man with a demon in a jar? I'd be questioning how he got that demon in the jar, and what would happen if he let that demon out of the jar. Those would be the only two questions that I would have on my mind. The question of fucking with this person with the demon in the jar wouldn't cross my mind at all. I wouldn't want to fuck with a person with a demon in the jar. I'd be afraid that, like, you know, what if I kick his ass? You know what I'm saying? And he drops the jar of demon and it breaks and it comes out. You know, me not knowing the true nature of that relationship between jar and demon in jar with person, I'd automatically assume that if the demon got out the jar, it was bad fucking news. Bad news, you know? The kind of news that you don't want to get at any time of day. Ever. It's just terrible. But that's not the point. The point is, they knew that I wasn't fucking around when I pulled out the demon jar. Their questions went right out the window. I didn't have to explain verbally who the fuck I was. Save us the goddamn time of wading through piles of bullshit trying to get down to a favorable means of getting this contract ratified between two parties. Now Jane was like, hey, should up the price. I mean, get rid of all the ghosts. Who fucking cares? Like, they're gonna really know that we got rid of all the ghosts? Rig up some stuff, make things fall over every now and then. Shit. Or maybe we just don't kill all of them. We'll leave one boring ghost, you know? I could care less, Jane, to be honest with you. Selective ghost removal. Oh, fuck. This crazy shit. Not even gonna ask what kinds of ghosts they would ask me to remove from other places if selective ghost busting was actually, you know, possible. You know, like if it was possible, which I'm glad it's not, because I have the firm belief that ghosts, for all walks of life and death, have the right to be just as much of an asshole now as they were then. They're dead. Like, why take that away from them? Why take that away from them? You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't want somebody to do that to you when you die. You want to be who you are when you die. Like, whatever that is that you believe that you are, you want to be that. And you don't want somebody else telling you that you can't do that because they don't like it. Or living people don't like the fact that they're alive. To be mad about some shit like you haunting them. And, you know, yeah, of course, me, I don't want y'all fucking with me and shit. Like, popping up, bouncing out from around walls and peeking your head from corners and being shadows in the corner of my eye. No, we don't want that problem. Anyway, back to the house. Rosamond and Jar, the people, they accept my terms. We move on past that. So, right, first place we head into is the basement. Of course, why not? There's always some crazy ass shit that happens in basements. And this basement was no different. Walk in, Rosamund starts flying around inside the jar like a madman. He's cracking up. I mean, he's in stitches, if such thing was possible for a demon made out of mist. But he was laughing hysterically. And so I lifted the jar to my face. And I said, what the fuck is so goddamn funny, Rosamund? What's so funny? He tells me that he can feel and sense the energy of the soldier that he pummeled to death over the chick. And at the same time, he could also sense the chick's energy. So he starts cracking up. He's like, please, you gotta let me do something. You gotta let me do something. I'm like, what do I have to let you do? You gotta let me, because you said, now remember what you said. You said I can feast if I did some shit here, right? I did say that. Well, I want to do something right now. It's gonna be delicious. For me, not for you. You might not like it too much, but that's the agreement that was made. I'm gonna bring me around the corner over here, real quick. I'm about to stir some shit up. So, you know, I bring him around the corner at the bottom of the steps, basement, put him down. I open up the jar, and I leave. Because no matter how much strength he derives from these spirits that he torments and shit, he's bound to the jar until the jar is shattered. And he can't shatter the jar himself. Trust me, I have this all set up perfectly. No matter what he does, he has to return to the jar. He can't survive without it. It's his new fucking permanent home. So I decided to destroy it. And him. And right now I'm having fun. But anyway, listen, right? So he comes back out as the soldier. The handsome revolutionary soldier that this guy was not happy about meeting back in those days. Also, he got his ass beat to death by him after he stole his girl from him. So, you know, Rosamund was laughing his ass off. Comes out from the corner of the basement, and the soldier dude sees him, right? Of course, he's mad as fuck, as most would be if they got beat to death and left stuck in this damn place for hundreds of years, right? So, immediately upon seeing Rosamund appear in the corner, he charges over at Rosamund like a madman, flies at him. Oh! How dare ye! He screams like a battle cry, but it sounded just like I did it right there. How dare you come back here! Damn it! This is my bitch, my wench. Speaking bloody, what? You can't come back here. Rosamund just gives him this look, this crazy look, right? He looks over at the dead chick, happens to be with this dude once again. She's only with him. This is the only dude around right now that she has any contact with in this ghost world. You know what I'm saying? So, bam. She sees Rosamund, and immediately she's interested in what's going on that side of Ghost Town. Bam. She leaves little soldier boy once again. Ooh, this hurts his ghost heart. This hurts his ghost heart. He's angry, starts to cry. You can see ghost tears hitting the ground like little raindrops of sadness. It was terrible to watch. It almost made me cry. Like, I was all choked up. Because, could you imagine? Could you imagine? After all that time? You know what I'm saying? You've been stuck here because this chick right here, like, had you believing she was going to deal with you. You get your ass beat to death over this shit. Then you spend some time with her in this eternal loop that you have. And then bam, out of nowhere, after you've been spending hundreds of years with this bitch, right? You've been spending hundreds of years with this bitch. She killed herself because she felt like she had something to do with your death. But then as soon as she sees ghost, handsome Rosamund, ooh, bounces on you again. I don't know about you, dude. I don't know about you, but I be wanting some fucking revenge. On both of them. Now, this is what I'm saying to myself. But I guess Ghost could read your thoughts. Because he looked at me, you know, in a strange way. I didn't like the way he was looking at me. Because it wasn't a good look. He starts charging towards me. Right? Charges towards me. Jumps into my body. I feel myself being taken control of by this fucking ghost. Mad. Angry ghost. So angry, he was mad. And I'm thinking to myself, why is he doing this when both of the things that he's mad at are ghosts? Why does this always happen? I have to catch stray bullets meant for Rosamund. Somehow they miss him and fucking hit me. And meanwhile, he's getting what he wants, which is more torment energy. I'm getting my ass kicked or attacked by certain things. And I don't like it. I'm getting tired of this chain of events. being a normal cycle. That is the ventures that I have when I bring Rosmo home. Now you're probably wondering what the fuck's going on with Jane. I was wondering the same fucking thing. Because like, while all this is happening, you know what I'm saying? She's just standing there. And I'm like, oh shit. Oh no, I know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen. This is not gonna go well. The girl, right, seeing what Soldier Boy did to me, so she runs into Jane. Right? Boom. Now she's Jane and shit. Other dude, Soldier Boy is me. Of course, Rosmo is just a ghost. He realizes that he can't kill me, but at the same time, he doesn't want to let this little Soldier Boy dude whoop his ass. That wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good at all. For him, it'd be fine for us. I wouldn't care. Just want this dude out of my body because, you know, when they take over you and shit, you can feel their pain. And this dude's pain was terrible. Like, he felt really betrayed. Like, extremely betrayed. It's what gave him the power, I guess, to take over a person. Like I said, he's not a demon. He's just a ghost. But these moments, he exacts his revenge while in possession of my body. He himself will become a lesser demon. Follow me on this if you can, right? He's committing an act of evil while in possession of a soul. While being in possession of said soul, that soul's energy will transfer some of this evil presence into his soul, which will then allow him to manifest to the demon plane as a demon, a lesser. Not a demon or a great demon, but a lesser demon. You get what I'm saying? Okay, you guys understand what I'm talking about. See, I told you I had to slay this shit so I could slay them. So, my brain, I'm thinking, I could just allow him to do that, right? And then get rid of him. But then I'm worried about what's gonna happen with Jane. You know, because this fucking dead bitch that is possessing her, she's kind of a fucking piece of shit, in my opinion. Playing both sides of the fucking fence. Got these dudes fighting and shit. No matter how fucked up Rosmo is, she's kind of trifling too. But it's not the point. Point is, two possessed people, it's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out at all. It's not gonna be good. But she already has Jane. So, you know what I'm saying? This is where things go bad for a little while. They really do. Because then Rosmo hops into this bum that just so happens to be sleeping inside John York house. One of the rooms, we didn't see him in there before when we first came in. Don't know why. He kind of didn't check around and shit. You know, as you can see what happened. It's the story. Understand it. Right? Boom. So now, it's me, who's really a little soldier dude guy. Jane is the chick who keeps switching sides. Rosamo has taken over a bum that was sleeping inside the building. I could hear the voice within me. It took control of me, like I said, I was possessed. She screams out, "Thou shalt pay for breaking the heart of a true honest man!" Ah! Runs at the bum, which is Rosmo. Fight ensues. She starts beating up this bum. Now, you have to understand what this looks like to someone who has absolutely no idea that we're all possessed. They just see me mercilessly beating on some bum, yelling things in an old English accent, just pounding on this poor homeless bum who's not saying anything. You know what I'm saying? So they look shocked to see this. Meanwhile, Jane is kind of like cheering me on. You know what I'm saying? Sort of. But you could tell that she's hoping that, once again, Rosmo wins. You feel what I'm saying? It's terrible. The way love works. Anyway, while he has me in his possession, beating on this poor bum had nothing to do with anything. I feel bad that he chose this bed and breakfast that wasn't a bed and breakfast at the time of this incident, but was going to end up becoming a bed and breakfast afterwards. It is one now. Anyway, like I was saying, I felt bad for this guy. He was just looking for some place to sleep out of the cold. And I wouldn't want to be possessed by a demon and then be savagely beaten by a fucking ghost that could potentially become another demon. You follow where I'm going with this? The pain I was feeling. Now, after this jackass who was possessing me has his fill of beating down this poor fucking bum. I mean, it's not funny. It's not funny, but it is. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the people are looking at me in a manner that makes me, within myself, under the control of this little douchebag, understand that an ass whooping is going to be headed my way if I can't somehow convince them of what's going on. I managed to take control of my left arm. Just enough time to splash on myself the blessed oil, because he had committed evil while in possession of a human soul, and energy made him into a lesser demon. Now this little English broken dude was a demon. And he set his sights on Jane, because Jane was being possessed by the chick that he liked, but he didn't like her anymore when he had become a demon. He was mad. He wanted to consume her soul. He became the demon of consumption because he consumes shit. He doesn't destroy, he just consumes. He just feeds like a parasite on your soul. And that's what he did. He started to feed. She's dead already. So, it's not like the same if he was feeding off the soul of a living person. He drains the soul of a dead person much quicker. And he latched on to poor Jane. So now he's bleeding her soul while bleeding the soul that has her possessed. You get what I'm saying? Right? Does that make any sense? If it doesn't make any sense, don't worry about it, because it's a stupid, scary story and it's not really supposed to make a whole hell of a lot of sense. It could make sense, depending on what context you take it in. But don't go crazy trying to figure it out. Don't go crazy trying to figure it out. We don't need to do that. Okay? Don't do that. Now that I'm free from the dude, right? And the people see this thing jump out of me, which is the little soldier dude, boy, guy. They realize that I wasn't beating up this bum on my own accord, which made them wonder why whatever had taken over me was wanting to beat up a bum. And that's when Rosamund jumped out of the bum's body and he starts laughing his ass off like, "Ha! You fucked that bum up! Oh God! Jesus! That was terrible! That was terrible! Oh man! I've never seen an ass whooping lay down like that before. That guy is mad. I mean, actually, I have seen an ass whooping lay down like that before. I laid it down on this guy. So, yeah. Sorry you had to be the one to give it to me. That poor bum. He's dead. Oh, God. That guy. Ha! Shit, Reese. You beat him something terrible. Felt ribs breaking, jaw shattered, skull fractured about 5 different places. Really bad what you did to that bum. These people don't look too happy. No shit. Listen. Alright? People, I want you to understand something. You seen fucking demon just hop out of me and shit. Hopped into my friend Jane. Okay? We need to stop with looking at me like I had anything to do with just happened here with this bum. I didn't beat this bum down. Like me, personally. I had no problem with the bum. You know what I'm saying? I had no problems with him. I didn't even know what the fucking guy was here. So, like, why would I want to just beat him down? That makes absolutely no sense. Now, you know what happened. Rosamund, tell them what happened. You know, Rosamund swirls up and gets into the jar where he's supposed to be. But before he does that, he lets them all know, you know, what happened and shit. Which was like the first time Rosamund ever did anything that didn't serve any purpose straight to him. So I could tell. I was starting to rub off on him. You know what I'm saying? I might be giving him a sense of compassion mixed in with that constant urge to destroy shit and fuck with people. So, anyway, let's just move on. Now, excuse me. What ended up happening was that the people backed the fuck off. You know, we explained to them this is a very tense situation. We had a demon to deal with. And we couldn't have them fucking in the way and shit. It wasn't gonna work. Bounce. So they did. Now I put my attention on Jane. Like I told you, this demon had jumped on Jane. Was trying to kill the soul of the chick that was fucking shit up from Jump Street. Jane was an innocent bystander, caught in the mix. Splashed her with the oil. Made the ghost girl get out of Jane real quick. Jane falls to the floor. Right? She's okay though. She's okay. Which is a good thing, because I like Jane. She's cool people. You know what I'm saying? On ghost hunts together, we see interesting shit. A lot of people don't understand the things that I'm talking about. You don't need to understand. Just believe what I tell you is true. So, anyway, to make a long story short, we kicked his ass for a while. A little demon. A lesser demon. But I felt kind of bad, right? That he wouldn't have been a demon if Rosamund didn't do Rosamund shit. So I was like, Splashed him with some fucking holy oil. Blessed it. Special binding. Curse, as you would call it. If you were a demon, of course. Because it is a curse. They can't do demon stuff. And binded him to another jar. Put him in this jar. I had 2 demons in 2 jars. Every now and then, I put them in a big, giant jug of glass. Watch them fight with each other and shit. Sort of like you would, I guess, 2 roosters or a couple of pit bulls. It's demon fights. I used to have this underground garage I would go to time after time. Jane would come along. We'd host demon fights, right? And people are idiots. So we would just tell each demon to like become different looking things. And Rosmo was a mist of smoke. He could change into pretty much anything, as can most demons. So, people are dumb and easy to fool. So we made it seem like we had like demons, like people had Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards or whatever kind of cards people played games with, Magic the Gathering, whatever. That's how many demons they thought we had, because like every other week it'd be a new demon fighting a new demon, and it was cool. They put on a little show, fight around the big jug, lights flashing and shit. They had a little smoke on the ground, and people would pay to watch the demon fights. So for like a couple of years, we were making good money. We hadn't gone ghost hunting and shit. So like the John York house kind of like springboarded Jane and I into this like business of doing the things that we were doing, which was the demon fights. But then, people wanted us to take the show to a bigger venue, and that's when the problems became worse. We weren't really doing a whole lot of ghost hunting and shit. Powers of the demons were starting to get a little low. Sort of. I mean, Rosmo was always in good supply. He could feed off the torment of the demon that he, in a way, created. So it's like, in a silly, weird, strange way, Rosmo had a son. Yeah. Funny how demons are born, isn't it? So, he kind of took after his dad, Rosmo, in some ways. Just like his dad, he had to feed. But he couldn't do like Rosmo did. He had to feed on living souls. He couldn't feed on dead souls. Every now and then, Jane and I would sneak off, find undesirables. Not going to speak on what types of undesirables they were, but they were undesirables. That's why nobody misses them, right? You don't hear anybody asking questions about any of these undesirables that I speak of, do you? No, you don't. Okay, so then don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. Don't ask any questions. How many? Where? Don't worry about it. Now, this lesser demon needed a name. We couldn't have him running around nameless. So we named this lesser demon. Well, Jane did. I didn't name it at all. A lot of times, he would take the shape like a miniature Rottweiler. It's just real mean looking and shit. So, Jane named him Rex. Yeah, Rex. Like a dog, Rex. Hey, Rex. Not that you would probably name a grown person or a child the name Rex. I couldn't imagine naming my child Rex. Rex! Come here, Rex! That just doesn't sound right. You know what I'm saying? Rex, why'd you do that? Jeez. The hell's wrong with you, Rex? You get your ass on the floor and get off the couch. People be like, who are you talking to? Oh, I'm talking to my fucking kid. His name is Rex? Yeah, his name is Rex. Fucking Rex. What's wrong with Rex? I like the name Rex. What's the dog's name? Chad. Chad. Your dog name is Chad and your son's name is Rex. Yeah, what of it? Rex. That's what she named the little demon. Rosmoon Rex. Now, Rex, we let stay with Jane. I didn't need them constantly, going at each other. Just because demons have somewhat offspring doesn't mean that they look at them in good light, because they don't. Okay? They don't fucking like their offspring. It's just like fathers in real life. They know. They know. Sons, yeah, they love you at first. They love you at first. Oh, they're everything you want them to be, right? You know, buddies, go on adventures with them, fishing and shit, maybe hunting if you're one of those types. Playing video games, going on walks, adventures. You know, camping out in the yard and shit, under the moonlight. They learn as they watch, grow, advance. Pretty soon, you notice that they're testing you. You're outnumbered. Oh, you don't realize. You don't realize your days as the alpha male upon the pile, leader of the pack. Oh, those days are numbered. They're just waiting for you to show weakness. That's right. That's right, dads. Your sons are just waiting for that moment. They're waiting for it. As soon as you show that little bit of weakness, they pounce on you. They pounce on you. You won't even see it coming. You're coming out the bathroom, you know, taking a long shit. They'll be waiting for you at the door. They muffle you so your wife doesn't hear them. Drag you down the stairs. Drag you into the basement. Hold you hostage. Lay out their list of demands. Listen here, Dad. This is what it's gonna be from this day forward. We run shit. Okay, now we're gonna let you look like you run shit, but we run shit. This is what's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen. And if it doesn't happen the way we ask for it to happen, there's gonna be some problems. There's gonna be some problems. That's what the older of the two of them says, right? I'm looking at the younger one. He's just sitting there. He's not saying anything. That's what worries me. I can't get a read. I don't know if he's willing to go down with the older one. Is this a together plan? Or is this his plot? He gets the older one to attack me. In the ensuing fight, I destroy the older brother. I'm weakened a bit, but I've destroyed the older brother, which leaves the younger brother to attack a weakened father. That's what goes through my mind. That's what goes through my mind, right? That's what I'm thinking when they approach, as they will, fathers. I kid you not. This is what's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Trust me when I tell you it's gonna happen. The ambush was on. The night before, I heard their plans. Divide and conquer, they said. Get him away from Mom. If we get him outside, we can spring our trap. Attack him. I know what people are thinking. This story started off about demons, and demon fights, and jars. Yes, this is a side story. I'm trying to get you to understand why demon fathers don't like demon children, based off of why, from a human perspective. So I had to break off and tell you about the story of fathers and sons, and how they came at me, but they didn't realize. I knew that they were coming. I beat them both down real quick and easy, and that's why I'm still the alpha male in this particular wolf pack, right? Yeah. Anyway, there is no wolf pack mentality amongst demons. Everyone for themselves. So, demons within the same plane will only interfere with one another. And that's a pain in the ass for demons. So it's best that only one demon is allowed in that particular plane in a particular time. unless they somehow learn to work together, which is usually not the case if left to their own devices. Demons will destroy the weaker demon. It's how a lot of lesser demons become demons, as they kill demons. You know what I'm saying? Either outright or through trickery. Either way, it doesn't matter. As long as they achieve the goal that they set out to achieve. I know. It's craziness. All this talk of demon planes, John York House, the demon there. Well, the birth of a demon. Seeing the guy who's falling up and down the stairs and shit. I forgot to mention that. He was too busy tripping up and down the stairs to even notice Rosamund was there. He didn't really care. Well, it's the moral of today's story. There even is a moral of a story as stupid as this one was. Don't have two demons in a jar that are related through creation. You know what I mean? They're just gonna fight a lot. I mean, you can make money off of them. Like I said, we have the demon fights thing going. Of course, it came crashing to a huge mess. I'm not gonna tell you about that tonight. I'll tell you that in another story. Maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure. But not tonight. It's craziness. Thank you guys for joining me for another one of OmenG's stupid scary stories.